Black Ops 6 Season 2 is nearly here, and in the meantime, I wanted to run down everything that you need to know about the upcoming update and the details of what's just on the horizon for Black Ops 6 and Warzone. So drop your thoughts as we go along, drop a like if you enjoy the video, and make sure to subscribe to stay updated with all things Black Ops 6 as we gear up for Season 2 and beyond. Also, make sure to follow over on Twitch. We're getting back into the swing of regular streaming, so I'd love to chat with you. But anyways, let's get into what you should know. First and foremost, when does Season 2 actually begin? Well, Season 2 is a weird one by comparison to recent seasons that we've seen in the past few years. The favored days for updates recently have been Wednesdays, Thursdays, but instead we're seeing Season 2 this time launch this Tuesday, January 28th at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern, 5 p.m. in the UK, and later on into the night for places on the other side of the world like Sydney, where that will launch at 4 a.m. On screen will be a few more time zones for easy conversion, but likely won't accommodate for every single possible time zone. So apologies for that, but hopefully it can at least make it easier to convert to a closer time zone to you. Like, I'm sure it's way easier to do the calculations if you're in New Zealand to recognize the time difference between Sydney and Auckland versus Los Angeles, New York, and London and Auckland. So anyways, hopefully that helps you out a little bit. Preload availability and the update sizing. As of recording this, no preload is available for every platform just yet. BNet has, for a little while now, been getting preloads well in advance. Like, I think the pre-release content notice that we have right now has actually been there for a few days, but nothing for PlayStation, Xbox, or Steam just yet. Usually that starts to happen around 24 hours out from the update, so players can get a quick install and jump into the content whenever they first want to without having to wait for a download. But keep an eye out on your consoles, check it sporadically if you're interested in a preload, but currently it's only available on BNet. But beyond that, PlayStation Game Size, the databasing account over on Twitter that tracks new updates, logged to key games in the PlayStation update databases, they got a hold of the new information regarding Season 2, where update 1.76 is going to bring the game's total size to 109 gigabytes, with the update packs for the game included, including Black Ops 6 campaign, multiplayer, zombies, Warzone, and even Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 in some more minor senses, just because it's all part of the COD HQ, and that's all affected. But what this means is not, and I repeat, not that the update is 109 gigabytes in size, but instead, that's the game's total file size after update, meaning the current 99.749 gigabytes got an update just shy of 10 gigabytes for this new season. Seems a little light, but we're also really only adding content for 2 of the 3 main major modes. Warzone is predominantly gameplay fixes and fundamental adjustments, with a lack of focus on the content side of things, which lessens the total of that overall update. Now, as for how long Season 2 will last, this is where it gets a little tricky, because seasonal events are dated to go outwards of March, which could indicate, and I want to stress, could indicate that we have a mid-season update in March, not 4 weeks after the launch of the season. But on the flip side of that coin, it also could just be something that what was revealed already in the Season 2 blog post could have just presented this stuff ahead of schedule, and that a mid-season update is likely what we're still going to see before March, meaning we could be on a more standard 8-ish week season of schedule. Season 1 this year was not a great indicator for how long the rest of the seasons will go, given the prolonged holiday break that happens almost every year, and that this season as a whole is 10, almost 11 weeks long, so not quite, but almost another month added to the equation, which is not necessarily normal for seasons in the last few years. So we'll have to wait and see officially, but spitballing, 8 weeks in length is probably what I say is a safe bet. But that said, that's where we can now turn to the content coming. Things we've already detailed at length, so I don't want to stick too long on this, but as a sort of just recap and the purpose of being thorough, having everything all in one place, you're going to end up seeing new weapons in the battle pass of the PPSH 41, the Cypher 91, the Fang 82, an event reward at some point shortly in that launch window, but just after the launch of the TR2 or the FAL. Maps we'll end up seeing coming at launch, Bounty and Dealership, both being 6v6 medium-sized maps. So not super small ones, but medium-sized. And then Lifeline, which is a strike map that can be played at either 2v2 and gunfight or 6v6 and face-off. At mid-season, a little later on down the line, we'll end up having a brand new map of Bullet, another strike map, and Grind, a remaster from Black Ops 2 and then Black Ops 4 that is a 6v6 medium-sized map. You'll also end up seeing new perks, streaks, and wildcards included with this launch and in-season. Slipstream is going to be an event reward that is shortly after the launch here again, but raises your base speed at the cost of removing tack sprint. In season, you're going to have the Fly Swatter wildcard, which will allow players to replace their dedicated melee weapon with a launcher, and the War Machine streak. At mid-season, so still a little bit ways out, the Hunter's Instinct secondary perk will be coming as well, which will allow a player to, when eliminating an enemy, mark the next closest enemy for them. So giving a little bit of an almost informational UAV ping, but not UAV. New modes we'll end up seeing include Overdrive, which is a sort of ability on killstreak mode, Gun Game, a classic party game returning, and then in season around Valentine's Day, we're going to see this because it is thematic, Third Wheel Gunfight, which is a 3v3 variation of Gunfight, and Couples Dance Off, which is Face Off, but in the more original Modern Warfare 3 2011 version, where it's 2v2 on respawn modes, not 6v6. Operators in multiplayer and crossing over into Warzone and such, you'll see Vortex as the Black Cell operator, Nocturne as a Crimson 1 operator, and then a little on in the season, we'll have the Terminator as an operator as well. That's a bundle crossover operator, so you'll have to pay for that one, but the Terminator is going to be joining the cast of our operators within Black Ops 6. The Battle Pass for Season 2 is, again, you're going to see things like the PPSH, the Cypher 91, the Fang 82, the crossbow attachment, Nocturne as an operator, and a bunch of other things that are more cosmetic-based, such as blueprints, double XP, calling cards, emblems, charms, stuff like that will be all in there. But the one big key detail that differentiates this Battle Pass compared to others is the new Black Cell XP bonus that starts to kick into effect. So this is described: players who purchase Season 1 Black Cell and go on to purchase Season 2 Black Cell will earn a permanent 10% player and weapon XP boost. The 10% player XP and weapon XP loyalty bonus is purchases of subsequential Black Cell seasons, upwards of 50% in those boosts for Black Ops 6 seasons only. So by Season 6, in theory, if you're getting 100 XP, if you've bought every single Black Cell Battle Pass, you're going to end up getting 150 XP, whereas the standard player would only get 100 XP. So that's one of those things that is a little controversial. There's a bunch of takes you could probably have on that, but this is the first season that you see that stacking effect going into effect. So just bear that in mind. Zombies, of course, is going to have that new map of the Tomb. You're going to end up seeing a lot of stuff included in this. I'm very excited to see how the Easter egg and all of this rolls out. Obviously, the gameplay itself, still a lot to be discovered here in regards to the map, the fundamental offering, if there's any new ways to farm for camos and stuff like that, or whatever the case. So I'm looking forward to all of that, but we're also going to see things like the new Staff Wonder weapon. We're going to see the return of Death Perception, which can be pretty beneficial with some of those augments as listed. So you're going to have a lot of new stuff there as well. Warzone, realistically, a lot of the Warzone experience, again, as we've discussed more at length before, is going to be something that it's kind of lackluster this season, or at least at the beginning of the season, because they're more focused on fixing the game rather than actually introducing new content. And with such a large update coming, seemingly, as rumored, on the horizon with Season 3, it is one of those things that, like, that's the big update that's looming, so what would they be really able to introduce that wouldn't take away from that, or that wouldn't get overshadowed by that? So that's one of those things that you're going to see a lot of gameplay changes, but on top of that, you're also going to see 2 perks introduced throughout the season, one at launch and then one at mid-season, where you're going to see the reactive armor perk, where if untouched for 5 seconds, you don't take any damage from an enemy, you can regen up to half an armor plate, which I think, again, as we talked about before, 5 seconds is a long time in the heat of a gunfight, but grand scheme of things, not really. So this might be a very powerful perk that gets adjusted in the future, but beyond that, at mid-season, we'll see low profile, which is going to be coming, granting faster crouch and prone speeds while moving faster while downed as well. That, on the opposite side of the coin, I don't quite expect to see a massive pick rate for, but the option will be there if you're interested. Events throughout the season will have 3 scheduled that are currently listed, more likely later on after the mid-season update, but the Terminator event goes from February 6th to the 20th, a collectible-based event. Also, in conjunction with that, after the first week of the Terminator event, you're going to have the secondary Shadow Hunt event for a week from February 13th to the 20th, which will be a challenge-based event. And then the St. Patrick's Day Clover Craze is only listed as March as a collectible event. So both of these collectible events, I'm thinking, are going to be like the Archie's Festival Frenzy, or like the Trophy Hunt events back within Modern Warfare 2. But the event preview is, as mentioned earlier, a bit of an interesting one because it could preface a longer season if the mid-season isn't until after the St. Patrick's Day event concludes, or they could be previewing further out than the mid-season already, which could mean that maybe it's around the 19th or 20th or the 26th or the 27th or something like that, the last week or two of February that we end up seeing. That's all still up in the air, but possible. Ranked play is going to see a handful of changes across Black Ops 6 and Warzone changes, the biggest of which coming are anti-cheat updates. And that kind of goes as a blanket statement for all of the experiences for Call of Duty in the COD HQ, even going backwards at this point, where it's promised we'll see updates to both anti-cheat from server-side protections and the kernel-level driver. What all details that specifically will include, we don't quite know, but fingers crossed is kind of the best we as players can say. But beyond that, we'll see cross-play customization, where with Season 2, you're going to be able to pull the PC player pool out of the ranked equation there. If you want to cross-play only console to console in ranked, you're going to be able to, which is definitely a nice step in the right direction. But obviously a working anti-cheat, one that actually is pretty dang strong, is the better option, I think, to not fragment any player bases. Seasonal setbacks will be introduced as they usually are from season to season, but the cool part for me, at least with ranked, that I'm kind of interested in checking it out, is the fact we have new camo rewards in both multiplayer and in Warzone ranked. So that should be something that is actually worth grinding for, I think, something you can actually use across everything. But anyways, beyond that, we just, of course, have the mid-season update and beyond. Rumors for what could be coming, of course, we have the leaked Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles sort of crossover event. We've seen multiple melee weapons in the game files. It's already been hinted at by some of the wording in the reveal blog that we'll see multiple melee weapons coming at mid-season as well. So is that a confirmation or a coincidence? I don't know. It just kind of matches up a little too well to not mention. And then, of course, the lead up to Verdansk will probably be starting with the mid-season update, starting to either have a new cinematic previewing things, the reveals start to come out, the teasers, and maybe even an in-game event of some kind we'll see. But Verdansk is, of course, that big sort of update on the horizon with Season 3, so we're not quite there yet, but we are getting close enough that it's going to be something of a focal point later on in Season 2. But for now, that is everything that you need to know about the update upcoming, and a little beyond into Season 2 as well. So let me know your thoughts down below. What are you guys looking forward to or not looking forward to within Season 2? Feel free to drop it. But if you guys enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 6 as we gear up the new season and beyond, as well as other FPS content I'd love to have in the community. But for now, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.